Fellas, in this video we're gonna get you over your fear of approaching girls, okay? In this video I'm gonna give you guys 10 solid tips to be able to go up and approach girls without feeling creepy, weird, or awkward, okay? So, let's jump right in. We'll start with tip number 1, okay? And that's to know your environment. You gotta be like a chameleon, right? If you go up and approach a girl at a club with the same kind of vocal tonality and projection as you would when you go up and approach a girl at a coffee shop, it's gonna come off as a little weird, right? Hey, how are you? Nice to meet ya! Hi! And you're at a library or a coffee shop, she's gonna look at you like you have 3 heads, right? Same thing goes for at a club. You go up and approach her, hey, I just come up to talk to you. Like, what? What? I can't hear you, right? It's a different style of approach. So, this leads into my next point, which I briefly want to speak about this, okay? About being labeled as creepy. So what is creepy, right? A lot of girls will label guys as creepy when that really just means they're not socially calibrated. So by adjusting to your environment, that's all part of it. Now, number 2 is going to help you. It's the king, okay? It will help you escape that, creepy vibe by holding eye contact, okay? If a guy comes up, or if I go out and talk to a guy, right, and he's avoiding eye contact, right, he's scared to make eye contact, or he's just not making eye contact, it could just be because he's shy, right? He's introverted, whatever. But it already gives me that weird vibe to him, if he's just not making eye contact, because it shows shiftiness. It shows that he's trying to hide something. It shows that he's not trustworthy, in my eyes anyways, right? So I can only imagine what girls think when a guy comes up and, is looking around the room like this, right? Now, don't take this to the extent of giving eye contact like this, right? And just being too overly invasive, right? You don't want to take it to the extreme by doing that. All right? So, yeah, you want to find some common ground there, okay? Now, this leads me to point number 3, okay? And that is being socially calibrated, all right? A lot of guys just frankly aren't socially calibrated, right? I'll see guys and they'll go up and they'll go, approach a girl who's with a friend, and they'll go like, just spout out some pickup line that they read online, and they don't even acknowledge that the friend's there, right? That is not what you want to do. They'll go up, barge into the conversation, interrupt them. They'll speak to the girl the whole time, the one girl who they had in mind, and they don't even look at the other girl, right? That is not an optimal strategy, because that girl is going to be in her ear either during the interaction or at the end of the interaction, and she'll be the one to be like, okay, this guy was creepy. Like, wow, she's going to be turned off by that because you didn't acknowledge her, right? And girls, they need that cosign, right? So a girl could like you, but if her friend's in her ear, saying anything negative about you, she's most likely going to go with what her friend said. So you want to go up, acknowledge her. You can even, ask how they met, build up some rapport there, right? But that's the first thing you want to do is you want to show social awareness, right? So same thing goes if you decide to use an opinion opener, right? If you were just to go up to a girl and say, like, you're at a library, right? And you just go up and say, do you like pineapples on pizza? She'd be like, what? Like, she'd be so thrown off, right? The better approach would just be to go up, if you're going to use that line, right? You just go, excuse me, hi. Random question, I know, but do you like pineapples on pizza? Right? And then, with whatever she said, you could be like, okay, well, it's kind of funny. Like, I saw this post on Facebook recently, and it said that like 95% of people prefer pizza without pineapple. They think it's weird, right? But God, I guess I'm just one of the few. And you know what? The fact that you like pineapple on pizza as well, too, makes me think, we might just get along after all, right? I kind of thought you were cute, but I wanted to see where you were at with that, because it's a big deal breaker for me, right? I made that up off the spot, or on the spot, right? But the point is you want to come off as socially calibrated, right? Come off as you have some social awareness, so she doesn't put you in that creepy friend zone, or sorry, in that creepy zone, okay? So if you guys are getting value out of this, make sure to hit subscribe down below, okay? Hit that big red juicy subscribe button, because I have plenty more content coming just like that, okay? Or just like this. So point number 4 is to approach her at a good distance, right? So don't approach her too far away, right? Because that could come off as you're questioning yourself. It doesn't come off as confident. It also comes off as socially calibrated too, because then you have to raise your voice like this, hey, hello, and it shows like a half-assed committed approach, which is not what you guys want to do, right? You want to come off as that confident and charismatic man, okay? So, I know it gets confusing here, but point number 5 is to not approach her too close, right? Don't go up and invade her space, because then she's going to be, it's going to put a bad taste in her mouth, because then she's going to think that, okay, is my safety in jeopardy here, right? Because if you're just going up and approaching a girl on the street and you just go up and, hey, how are you? Right? Like, you don't want her backpedaling, okay? You want to get her attention, approach her at like 3 feet, I find is a good distance. Hey, excuse me. And then as you're speaking to her, you can get in closer as you start to build more rapport, more comfort, okay? So I've just written down notes so I don't completely fly off the rails here. But yes, it's important that you come off as socially calibrated first, right? So you don't want to be too sexual right out of the gate, okay? Don't go up and say, hey, your ass looked nice, I had to come up and approach you, right? You're on the street here. This is day game, right? It doesn't work like that, okay? Even if you look like Brad Pitt in his prime, a girl is going to be turned off by that for the most part, because she doesn't know you, right? She doesn't want to have that ASD, as they call it. She doesn't want to be perceived as, a piece of meat on the street, right? Don't open with something like that, like an overly sexual opener, right? It's too much too quick. You want to slowly build to that, okay? And again, this is going to sound funny, but it's like, you also don't want to be too vague, right? You want to find the perfect balance between being too overly sexual and being too overly vague or unclear about your intentions, right? So if you go up and approach a girl, you open with whatever, like, oh, hey, nice weather, wow, I don't really know how to dress today for it, right? I'm just making this stuff up on the spot. That's okay, but you want to be you don't want to just keep talking about the weather for half an hour. Oh yeah, last Thursday it was really sunny. I really like the weather we had in January. Wow, right? Because the problem with that is the girl knows why you've come up and approached her, right? She knows that you're not just going to have a conversation about weather because you love the weather so much, right? Like, you want to at least show some intent. And you can do that with your eye contact, with the tone of your voice, in the way that you're speaking, right? By the end of the interaction, you want to ask yourself, okay, did I speak to her like I would a male acquaintance? Or was there some flirtiness? Was there some sexual tension between us, right? So ask yourself that at the end of every interaction, okay? So now we're going to get into actual things that you can say to her, right? Actual ways that you can go and open the conversation, right? That will work in your favor. So this one is great. It's called the lost tourist, right? So you go up and you ask her, hey, do you know any great places to eat around here? Right? But you don't want to just leave it at that. Oh, yeah, there's a pizza over there. Oh, great, thanks, bye, right? With whatever she recommends, you could playfully tease her, right? So I would put to add to that lost tourist, lost tourist with an opinion, okay? So, ask her that. She says, oh yeah, there's a great, pizza place. Well, I'm more of a shawarma guy myself. And then you can ask her, okay, do you like shawarma? With whatever she says, oh, not really. What? You don't like shawarma? Right? You could playfully, how do you not like shawarma? Right? Or she says, yeah, I do. And then you can say, oh, great, okay. Looks like I can take your advice into consideration, right? Or if she says, oh, yes, I do, you'd be like, oh, great. Well, hey, I got to say, I'm a pretty tough critic when it comes to shawarma, so hopefully you point me in the right direction, right? You show me a good area I can go to, okay? Because I don't want to be pointed in the wrong direction. I don't want to eat lackluster shawarma, right? The lost tourist is a great way to start a conversation. Another one is a unique compliment, okay? A unique compliment is a great way to start a conversation. And guys, you want to stay tuned to the end of the video because I've saved the best for last, okay? The best tip for last, okay? So hear me out. So by saying a unique compliment, you can go up to a girl, and I've noticed this a lot lately. I've noticed girls wearing classic rock shirts, right? I love classic rock. My favorite band is Guns N' Roses, right? So I've noticed for whatever reason, a lot of girls recently wearing Guns N' Roses shirts, right? So I'll go up and approach them, and I'll say, excuse me, hi, I thought you had a really good taste in music, and I'll pause. And then I'll say, do you actually like the band, or did you just like the logo? Just be honest with me, okay? I won't tell anyone. We'll keep it between me and you. Most of the time, they'll say they just like the logo, right? Which is fine, because then you can come from a place of, okay, well, listen, well, I'm going to have to educate you just in case this happens again, right? Just in case anybody comes up and, ask you about Guns N' Roses. I don't want you to be empty-handed. I want you to know at least a little something about them, about the best band in the world, right? Give you some education on them, a little crash course, right? Then you can, get her number and grab a drink, Here, I'll tell you a little facts. I'll tell you some facts about them, right? We wouldn't want you to be empty-handed, right? Whatever the case is. But you can also tease her. She says, oh, I just like the you just like the, you're a bit of a poser then. You don't want to say it like that, right? You want to communicate it in your body language, right? Ooh, well, that's kind of like somebody that wears a Jays hat and has never seen a baseball game, right? Okay, what kind of music do you like? Right, and then you can ask her like that. That's a better way to do it. And then the last tip, okay? This one is my personal favorite. This one is what I find is easy for me and is a great way to start a conversation, and that is to commentate on what you see, right? Be the Joe Rogan, okay? So that is a good approach, okay? Regardless of where you are. Let's say you're at a park, okay, and a girl's walking by, her hair is blowing in the wind. You can stop her and say, excuse me, hi, I just liked the way you walked. I know it's random, but you literally look like you were walking like you were, coming off of a runway, or like you had experience in modeling. Do you have experience? Oh, okay, cool, right, oh, whatever. Or she's walking with Nike shoes, right? Nike shoes and Adidas socks, and she's wearing a Billabong t-shirt. That's a bit of a fade out, but I'm making this stuff up on the spot here, guys, okay? So if I see a girl walking like that towards me, I'll say, there is so much conflicting information here, okay? You look like a human billboard here. All right, who are you sponsored by? Nike? What would Nike do if they found out that you were wearing Adidas, right? You can playfully tease her with this style here, okay? Now, if you guys want to go more into detail about how you can use an observational opener to get a girl's number and get her on that date with you, I've broken it down into further detail in this video right here.